Welcome to The Explainer, everyone. I am absolutely thrilled you're here. If you're focused on truly mastering cybersecurity architecture, well, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're taking a detailed look at the ultimate blueprint for building an impenetrable cybersecurity fortress. And we aren't just talking about basic IT defense here. We're talking about engineering a highly mature enterprise-grade security operations center totally from the ground up. Okay, let's dive into this because this is a question that literally keeps Chief Information Security Officers awake at night. How do you actually construct an enterprise SOC from scratch? I mean, it sounds like an overwhelmingly massive undertaking, right? You can't just buy a bunch of blinking boxes, plug them in, and declare yourself secure. It requires a really strategic, phased approach that seamlessly integrates your people, your process, and your technology. To get there, we'll follow this architectural blueprint. First, building the SOC foundation. Next, detection and incident response. Then, advanced hinting and maturity. After that, tech stack and skills. And finally, we'll install those heavy-duty financial vault doors with the banking enterprise overlay. Section 1. Building the SOC foundation. Laying the groundwork. Now, what's really interesting about this roadmap is that it's a marathon, not a sprint. Think of this just like constructing a massive physical fortress. You have to pour a rock-solid concrete foundation first. Without it, the whole thing eventually collapses. Notice how months 1 through 3 are dedicated entirely to building that foundation. Then, months 4 through 6 pivot into detection engineering, followed by incident response in months 7 through 9. By the time we hit months 10 through 12, we're proactively threat hunting, which finally leads us into a fully mature SOC by year 2. Let's zoom in on those critical first few months. So during months 1 through 3, you're basically assembling 3 sequential building blocks. First up, the people. You absolutely need a dedicated SOC manager, your level 1 and level 2 analysts, and a system admin. Second, the technology. You've got to deploy your core tools, your SIEM, your endpoint detection and response, or EDR, a vulnerability scanner, and a configuration management database. And finally, the process. You have to establish your asset inventory, ensure really solid log collection across the board, and lock down your backups. And bam! You know your foundation is officially solid when you hit this exact milestone. All critical assets identified. 80 to 100% of your log sources successfully onboarded. Your EDR is fully deployed across the entire environment, and your vulnerability scanning is up and running. Hitting this gives us a massive sense of completion for that crucial first phase. Section 2, detection and incident response. Wiring the alarms and hiring the guards. Look, a concrete foundation is completely useless if you don't have alarms to tell you someone's actually breaking in, right? So, in this next phase, spanning months 4 through 6, your primary goal is to wire those alarms by developing 50 to 100 high-quality SIEM use cases. You need your systems actively hunting for things like brute force logins, privilege escalation, ransomware, suspicious PowerShell activity, and data exfiltration. You also need smart, context-aware alerts like impossible travel, where a user logs in from New York and then suddenly 10 minutes later from Tokyo. These use cases ensure your alarms are perfectly tuned to the actual threats you're facing. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what happens when those alarms go off. Moving into incident response, we map specific incidents directly to highly structured automated SOAR playbook actions. If malware is detected, the playbook instantly isolates the endpoint and collects evidence. If it's ransomware, the host is disconnected immediately and indicators of compromise are blocked. Phishing emails are quarantined on the spot, and insider threats trigger an automatic account disablement. This kind of automation is a total game changer. It turns a sluggish, manual IT response into a lightning-fast security reflex. Section 3, advanced hunting and maturity. Proactive defense. Okay, as we move into months 10 through year 2, the dynamic completely changes. We transition from just sitting around waiting for alarms to actively hunting for hidden intruders. Your analysts are now utilizing frameworks like MITRE ATT&CK and the cyber kill chain to proactively search for complex threats that might have slipped past the automated defenses. They're hunting for adversaries living off the land, basically attackers using your own legitimate admin tools against you. They're actively searching out credential dumping, lateral movement across the network, pass-the-hash techniques, and DNS tunneling. They are literally patrolling the fortress walls. Hitting year 2 means you are finally unlocking the truly advanced capabilities. You're finalizing the fortress by integrating user and entity behavior analytics, threat intelligence platforms, and AI-assisted investigations. This right here is the absolute gold standard of a mature, modern SOC. Section 4, Tech Stack and Skills, Equipping the Fortress. So what does it actually take to power all this? Well, for an enterprise-grade stack, you're looking at industry heavyweights. For your SIEM, platforms like FortiSIEM, Microsoft Sentinel, or Splunk. For endpoint detection and response, you're looking at tools like CrowdStrike, SentinelOne, or TrendVision1. And to power those automated playbooks we just talked about, you'll need a SOAR platform like Cortex XSOAR or FortiSOAR, integrated deeply with ticketing systems like Jira or ServiceNow. These are the tools that make advanced detection possible. But hey, the most expensive tools in the world are basically paperweights without the right human expertise. Your human capability has to scale right alongside the tech. Level 1 analysts focus on SIEM triage, networking fundamentals, and basic malware analysis. Level 2 steps it up to threat hunting, detection engineering, and digital forensics. And your Level 3 experts, they are handling the incredibly complex stuff, advanced reverse engineering, purple teaming exercises, and overall security architecture development. Now let's talk KPIs, because to ensure everything is actually performing, we track some strict numbers. And this one should inject a real sense of urgency into your operations. A mean time to detect of less than 15 minutes. That is the true enterprise standard we're aiming for. When a threat enters your environment, your team has less than 15 minutes to spot it. No exceptions. And here's another absolutely non-negotiable target. 100% EDR coverage across all endpoints. Seriously, 100%. Because you literally cannot protect what you cannot see. If even one single server lacks coverage, that is a blind spot an attacker is going to exploit.
Section 5, the Banking Enterprise Overlay, the heavy-duty vault doors.
We're going to execute a bit of a narrative pivot here, because for some organizations, a standard setup just isn't going to cut it. So the crucial point is understanding the massive gap between a generic IT environment and a financial one. A generic SOC implementation is great for standard IT threat monitoring and basic compliance, but a financial sector SOC, that requires an entirely different level of rigor, with extreme financial compliance and specialized transaction monitoring, mainly because the target on a bank's back is magnitudes larger. For an enterprise banking environment like the one you've been working on, I would also recommend extending this roadmap with banking-specific capabilities, such as PCI DSS compliance monitoring, ATM/RAM monitoring, SWIFT monitoring, privileged access monitoring, database activity monitoring, or DAM, and fraud detection integration. And tying all of those banking-specific capabilities together is the final requirement: 24/7 SOC operations with defined escalation procedures. This provides a roadmap that aligns with financial sector security requirements rather than a generic SOC implementation. Because in the world of finance, the threats literally never sleep. If a SWIFT transaction anomaly pops up at 3 a.m. on a Sunday, you cannot wait until Monday morning for someone to review the ticket. Which brings us to the final thought for today's explainer. I want you to look closely at the blueprint we just walked through, from pouring the foundational concrete all the way to installing those heavy-duty financial vault doors. Ask yourself, are your organization's operations truly 24/7 proactively hunting threats and hitting that 15-minute detection window? Or are you just relying on an illusion of security? I really hope this blueprint gives you the exact structural knowledge you need to start building a true enterprise fortress. Keep learning, keep building, and I will see you in the next explainer.